Good morning, cadets. I welcome you all for my next session of computer science class, that is on the problem solving methods. Now, in my previous class, we have discussed along with the curriculum, subject, mark distribution, weightages, etc. Then we have discussed about what are the problem solving steps, what is an algorithm, examples of algorithms, what is a flowchart, what are the flowchart symbols used, and how to write what are the flowcharts for the given specific problems. I gave you two, as a homework I gave you two problems to write the flowchart. I don't know how many of you have written, but now let us see. One is to calculate the area of a rectangle, another one is to enter any number and check it is divisible by 7. Very simple flowchart. Just see here, start. The inputs are length and breadth, that's why it is in parallelogram. Computation, area in a rectangular box, length into breadth, and display the area which is an output. Remember, both input as well as output will be always in parallelogram. Computation is in rectangle. Start and stop will be in oval shape image. Okay. Now the second one, what was the problem? Accept a number, check whether it is divisible by 7 or not. How will we decide whether number is divisible by 7 or not? Whenever a given number is divided by 7, if the remainder we get 0, it is a divisible, otherwise it is not divisible. Same, very simple. Start, get a number, whatever number you take, divided by 7, then check the remainder. If it is 0, divisible by number 7, otherwise not divisible by number 7. So like that. Now when we are going to write the Python programs in our subsequent classes, when we start that chapter, that time we need to write either algorithm or flowchart before writing the program. That's why it is very important to practice how to write the flowcharts and algorithms for the given specific problem in a simple way. Now let us go for the pseudocode. What is exactly it is? There are a formal and informal way. What do you mean by formal way of writing the program? Here it is, pseudocode is a formal way, algorithm is an informal way. Okay. So as a formal, it is easy description of what the algorithm must do. Formally styled English like language, we write the steps in a very clear manner. Initial step in the process of developing of a program, provided detailed template to the programs. It is program language independent. Once if it is written pseudocode, either pseudocode or algorithm or flowcharts, all are these are detailed, what you can say, they are the initial steps to process before developing the program. Either algorithm you can write, flowchart you can write, or pseudo you can write. Pseudocode also you can write. Now let us see what kind of some keywords are used in while writing the pseudocode. Accept, input, display or print, if, else for conditions, repeating for repetitions, start, end, go to, some of the keywords we are going to use in the pseudocode. Now example of a pseudocode. To input the two numbers and display the sum. Start, input a and b, total equal to a plus b, print the total. That's what the pseudocode we call it as. Even sometimes you can call it as an algorithm also. Now enter a number and check it is even or not. How you will check a given number is even or odd? If the number is divisible by 2, then it is a even, otherwise it is odd. What is written here? If number mod 2 is equal to 0, then print number is even, otherwise print number is odd. So what are the pseudocode steps involved here? Start, input the number, and divisible by mod is what? It's to find out remainder by dividing 2. If it is 0, print number is even, otherwise print number is odd. This is the pseudocode for checking a given number is even or odd. Some of the examples we have given, and pseudocode we do not go much detail in that. You can practice on later stage how to write the algorithm, flowchart and pseudocode. Now coming to the control program structure. If you go for any programming language, These are all backgrounds required before starting the Python. In fact, C language, C++ language, Java, whatever it is, whatever language you are going to study, these program structures will be there. So these are the basic structures that are required in a programming language. So there are three types: sequential, selection, and iteration. The names itself suggest. What is sequential? Here, in sequence, the steps are written. Between the beginning and end, in between the steps are there. That is, those will be in sequence. Each statement will be executed one by one. For example, you can see here statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and so on up to statement L. There will not be any repetition of step. There will not be any skipping of the step. There will not be any jumping of the step. Nothing is involved. A sequential is very simple. Earlier we had written the algorithms to print the sum of two numbers. It is a sequential. Getting two numbers, adding it and printing it. There is no repetition, no question of going back, no question of repetition, no question of jumping, skipping, nothing. This is called as a sequential. Now example you can see here. A swapping. Swapping means interchanging the two numbers. Okay, this logic, about the logic we will discuss later. Here the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all are in sequence. Therefore it is an example of a sequence structure. See what you can see here. A will be temporarily stored in C, then B will be stored in A, and which was temporarily stored in C will be brought into B. Therefore if A is 10, B is 20, after this swapping A will become 20 and B will become 10. That is what this sequential structure. Now selection. What it is exactly? It is a condition. Based on the condition, the result, or based on the result of the condition, either true or false, we are going to take action. The keyword either if and else. All program languages uses that. It is called as a branching also, because if it is true, you take one way branch, otherwise you go for another side branching. That's why if the condition is true, we take one branching, that is if condition true. If condition false, that we go for else in the other. Branching will be done depending upon the condition. Example can you see here? So input the age and check eligible to vote or not. A candidate will be decided if age is more than 18 eligible, otherwise not eligible. Age is input age. If age is greater than or equal to 18, even 18-year age also eligible to vote. Greater than or equal to 18, then print eligible for voting, otherwise not eligible for voting. Okay. Now what is iteration? Iteration is nothing but the repetition. It specifies block of one or more statements that are repeatedly executed till the condition remains true. We'll put some condition. For example, if I tell you to take 10 rounds in our quadrangle, okay, first round you will repeat the second round, you will repeat the third round. When you are taking the first round, my counter will be 1. When you complete 1, then my counter starts with 2. When you complete second round, my counter starts with 3. Like that, the repetition continues up to my counter becomes 10. So condition, because I have told you 10 times, that's why my counter is 10, still you are running. The moment the counter becomes 11, you stop running because condition fails. So here some keywords are used in programming language like while, for, etc. Then iteration consists of 3 main parts with the initial value. As I told you, before start taking rounds of your 10 rounds in quadrangle, my counter will be 0. That is the initial value. Okay. Condition, up to what condition iteration will continue, that is the counter when it crosses 10, my condition fails. As long as it is equal or less than 10, condition is true. My increment or decrement means initially condition was my counter was 0. When you completed first round, it becomes 1. Then second round it becomes 2. Third round it becomes 3. Means what? You are incrementing steps of 1. That is upward loop also we call, downward loop will also call. If the counter is incremented, it is an upward loop. If the what you can say, if the counter is decremented, that is called as a downward loop. Take an example here. To print the numbers from 1 to 100, my initial value is 1, a equal to 1. My condition should be true, that is, as long as the value of a is less than or equal to 100, keep on printing a. Okay, and every time I will increment by 1. This process continues because step print a and a equal to a plus 1. These are the two steps which are repeatedly executed as long as the condition is true. The moment the value of a becomes more than 100, that is 101, it comes out of loop and it will end. That is the iteration, what we call it as. Okay, you can initially a equal to 1, condition will be checked, it is less than or equal to 100, true, then it will print 1. Now the value of a will be incremented by 1, becomes 2. Now again condition will be checked, true. This process will be continued. After printing 100, value will become 101, condition is false and loop will end. Another example with goto, similarly either loop, here also you can see initial value is 1, print that 1, it becomes 2, if okay, then if it is less than or equal to 100, go to the step 3 back, print 2, a becomes 3, 3 is less than or equal to 100, go to step, this will repetition continues as long as a is less than or equal to 100. The moment a becomes 101, it will not go to step 3, instead it will go to next step, that is end. Now these you pseudo codes you have to practice. Okay, this video will be available with you. This assignment will also I will post, okay, so that you can write your own pseudo codes for converting temperature to Fahrenheit, then input age and check it is a teenager or not, to print all the even numbers from 2 to 100, and to print all the odd numbers from 100 to 1. It is a downward loop. You please try, otherwise you will have solutions in our subsequent classes. Now the decomposition, okay, this is one of the main program, what you can say, the concept of programming approach is a decomposition. Let us discuss in only brief about this, okay, even though it is there in the curriculum, but this time they have told us to eliminate, but still this decomposition is a very important approach in any programming. That's why I would like to discuss this decomposition in this my class. What is exactly decomposition? Decompose, divide and conquer. A program can be tackled in that with the using the principle divide and conquer. It happens when the breakdown a problem into smaller parts, we can both understand and manage them problem. Whenever we give a big task, for example, if I tell you to write 100 pages as a homework, so you may not write at a stretch all 100 pages, then you will decide, okay, first day I will write 10 pages, next day I will write 10 pages. So like that you are going to divide your work and finally you will complete your 100 pages. For example, a complex problems we can then analyze, solve, design the smaller parts of the problem and then put it all together for a solution. That is what the decomposition. The given task will be divided into subtasks. A given problem will be divided into sub problems and then each sub problem will be solved, finally all together combined to get a solution to the main big problem. What are the advantages? More than one person can work because the work is divided and assigned. Then parallelly all can work. Then since each one is looking after the part given to them, they will easily manage them. What is the disadvantage? The solution to subprogram might not combine to solve the original problem. Poorly understood problems are harder to decompose. It is important that problem must be understood. Then only the sub problems are attended properly, solved properly. If somebody or a sub part is not one part of the total the main work or a main problem is not done properly, then your total solution may not work when you are combining. These are the disadvantages. Now let us see what is the need for compilation. Okay, as studied earlier, first need of decomposition is to divide the large program into smaller and manageable subprograms. It is easier to write programs, okay, two programs of 400 lines rather than writing a single program of 800 lines. Each subprogram can be managed independently, changes can be applied very easily, code can be reused. Okay, this we will understand when we are going to write the programs in Python. How the code is nothing but the program. A piece of program can be reutilized. That is examples of functions, modules, etc. How they are the decomposed part of a program. So once if you write a function or a module for a particular problem, that can be repeatedly used as many number of times as we want. That we will see while writing the Python programs. Example of a decomposition you can see here now. Let us assume you have one big problem, break down into the smaller logical parts, part 1 of a problem, part 2 of a problem. Further, part 1 of a problem is divided into sub-problem 1, sub-problem 2, and part 2 of the problem is divided into sub-problem 3, sub-problem 4. This is example of a decomposition. Another example of a decomposition is a library management. So who are the main important entities involved in a library? The members of the library, the books available in the library, and the main activity of issuing a book or returning a book. So in case of either books or members, what are the actions that takes place? Add, what books are added whenever they are procured. Edit, okay, means you have to get the details of those books, you want to enter somewhere, or else whenever the books are disposed of, you have to delete, or whenever somebody will come and ask for a book, whether the book is available or not, we have to search. Similarly, members can be added, member details can be edited, and members can be removed, as well as a member can be searched based on the member number. See, this is how the program, the library management, divided into books, members, and issues. Further, in the books we have 4 subtasks. In the members we have 4 subtasks. Also in issue we are having 2 subtasks. These are all subtasks together. When they are properly solved, then your library management software will be developed. Now another example. Think of a company creating a mobile phone, and as you know that made up of lots of different parts involved in that. Companies who make phones might make a list of everything they need and decompose the manufacturing process so that one factory can be making the screens, another can be batteries, another one can make phone cases, and another makes motherboards of the. So that's why these works are distributed and given to the another different kind of manufacturing companies, and they keep on getting them, and then they assemble them, then they will have a mobile in their hand. Now another example of decomposition. Let us see. Game designing is very complex process. It is not very simple. Playing game is a simple process, but developing a game is not an easy task. So the 6 steps are written here. Come up with an idea to develop a game. Create the graphics as per the requirement. Record all the sounds required in the game. Write a program. Code means write a program for every movement: running, jumping, sitting, walking, actions, firing bullets, hitting actions, calculation, scoring, and so on. Then test the game. The last one is debug and make the improvements. What is the debug? If anything is not correctly working in the game, that correction you have to do and then try to improve it. These are the various kinds of steps involved. Now decompose. How the developing game is decomposed here? Come up with an idea, create a graphics, program each part of the one at a time, testing the game, and debug and make improvements. This is what the concept of decomposition. Now the initial part of the problem solving method or problem solving unit we have chapter we have finished in these 2 sessions. Okay, now after this we are going for the the getting started with Python. Okay, in our next session. Thank you guys. Whatever homework is given, keep on doing it. Okay, so that will be very easy for further the understanding of your concepts. Okay.